Welcome to the Just Be a Man podcast. Please note, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Each individual is providing their own independent opinion. Follow, like, subscribe, and comment at Just Be a Man 2020 on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. Also, expect new content every Wednesday on Spreaker.com or your favorite podcast app.
Hello and welcome to Just Be a Man. Thank you for joining us today where we're joined by Chuck, Stefan, Charles, Mike, and Wayne. Hey, today we're going to talk about a few comments that we've received from our listening community, and we just want to go through some of these items on the air so that everyone can kind of hear our feedback to them. So I'm going to start right off here with the first comment was, do you exercise the same excellence in your personal life as in your professional life? So basically, are you making as much effort in your personal life as you're making in your professional life? So I want to start with Chuck. Chuck, let's talk about that a little bit. Do you keep it focused on doing it just as well in your personal life as you do in your personal life?
You know what? I tried. I'm retired now, but I tried when I was in the business world. But it's hard. As an entrepreneur, your days are your hours are spent trying to make sure that your business is up and running. It's where it needs to be. Your employees are doing what they're supposed to do, and your clients are satisfied. The whole 9 yards. There's very little time for you, so you have to fight for that time for you, your spouse, your family, and all that. But at the end of the day, at the end of the week, you're tired. I mean, for example, my day started at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And then my day, oftentimes, after I owned a restaurant, closed the restaurant at 9:30, not getting out there till 10:15, 10:30 after cleaning up the whole 9 yards. So I'm walking in the house at 10:30. Didn't live that far away. So roughly 11 o'clock is when I'm really sitting down and just starting to unwind. So how do you take care of yourself when the majority of your day is gone? So now that's when you got to plan time with the family, plan downtime and all this other stuff. The average person doesn't do that because it takes time to plan. So when can you do all this stuff? So I applaud the person that does that and can do that. That was just never my reality. But if you have the opportunity, if you have the disposable time and hours, then most definitely that's what you need to do. You've got to make time, healthy time, for yourself, your family, equal time from away from your business, and even if you're not an entrepreneur, just your work life and all that, because that all goes into your mental health. You're no good to anyone if you're not taking care of yourself. You've got to take care of yourself.
So let me ask you this, Chuck.
Yeah.
I sorry to interrupt you. So let me ask you this. So you're talking about it now from a person who's retired. While you were doing that, restaurant career, did you feel that these things were out of bounds, and were you working to try to fix that? I mean, you're saying that it was very difficult, but did you make an effort to kind of correct that, and was that a priority for you?
It was a priority. I did work my butt off to try to correct it because I always felt like I was shorting my family. They weren't getting the time from me that they deserved to have. But there's only one of me. So as an entrepreneur, business owner, I could never reconcile that. I could never get the two correct. Because the business just took so much of my time. But the only thing I can say to that is, anyone listening, you've got to make that time for yourself. I wasn't able to do it. I tried, and there were times where I just I disconnected. True story. Years ago, because I wasn't making any time for myself, I snapped. I mean, I had a breakdown. I don't know what you call it, but the buildup was real. Just like a few days before I really snapped, I was snapping at everybody. I mean, there were just, anything could trigger me. I just had so much pressure from all sides. At least I felt that eventually I did. I snapped, and I mean, I had an attack, if you will. Um, and that was one of the times that I was kind of a wake up call that I was working too hard. I wasn't taking enough time for me, and I realized after that that I needed to. But again, as an entrepreneur, it's really hard to do. So yeah, if anybody's listening to this, I mean, I'm telling you from experience, you've got to take time for yourself. Um, the balance, from work to home, it's almost always going to be off. You've got to make a conscious effort to balance the two. It can be done. I just wasn't able to do it. So that's how it was for me.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Chuck. Hey, Stefan. Obviously, you had a career in the military. Speak a little bit about your personal life balance with your military career.
I tell you the best example, and I learned this in 2002 with a one-star brigadier general. He got up and said, "Look, we're here in Afghanistan. We're at war. Got it. But this is a marathon, not a race. You got to take time for yourself. Yes, you're working 12-hour days. You may be working 7 days a week, but you still got to find that time where you can get away from the talk, get away from which is Tactical Operations Center, get away from um, your peers, your subordinates, your superiors, and take some time for yourself." And that resonated with me because this guy ended up becoming a four-star general by the last name of McChrystal, and he basically kind of guided me for my next two deployments. Whereas on Sundays we shut it down. We showed up to work around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which was unheard of, because we had to find time for ourselves. And so I've always done that, at least with the military. And now that I'm retired, I'm finding, some time besides, doing schoolwork, just finding some time to just veg out, go sit on the front porch, engage with family and friends, or just, take a walk by myself.
Okay. All right. That's good, Steph. Thank you. Does anyone else want to chime in on this real quick? Mike or
Yeah,
Charles?
I'll chime in real quick. The two gentlemen that just spoke, Chuck and Stefan, obviously are two of my dearest friends, along with everybody on this podcast. And I think I would offer a different spin on their answers to this question because I've seen these dudes in operation. I've seen them exercise excellence in their personal life, even though it was perhaps difficult to do so. I've seen them be excellent friends. I've seen them operate in excellence in different areas of their life. I've seen it personally. And I believe that we as men tend to compartmentalize, meaning that we operate sort of in compartments. There's a box for work, there's a box for family, there's a box for friendship, there's a box for our hobbies, etc. And there's a different set of behaviors associated with each of those boxes. So for myself, for example, at work, I tend to be a lot sharper and on point in my professional life because I have to be. But in my personal life, I get to relax a little and let my hair down. But whatever task I'm on, whether it's business or personal, I try to operate in excellence with the same set of values and principles. And that's what I've seen out of each of you. I've seen how each of you interacts with your family, with your children, how you interact with me as in friendship. I see how you engage in projects and things of that nature around your homes. No shortcuts. So in my opinion, from the outside looking in, although yes, time is definitely an issue, I believe that operating in excellence. Uh, I believe that you have demonstrated that in all aspects of your life. Maybe your demeanor is different, but your pursuit of excellence has been the same, if that makes sense.
All right. So I hear what you're saying, Charles. Yeah. So basically, it sounds like both Steph and Chuck are saying that they've fallen short, but that's just because their expectation was that much higher, right? So they did a good job, but they were trying to still do more. That's what I'm getting from it. And Charles, to your point. All right. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Hey, let's move to the next comment we received from our listeners. how do men practice self-care for themselves and for each other? So the way I look at this is kind of, how do you take time to set time aside so that you're able to veg out, as someone else said, or just kind of relax a little bit. So Mike, let's why don't you take this one? Well, let's talk about self-care.
During times of stress, you're taking care of yourself, so you're finding alternative things to do. In my occupation, is very high stressful situation, very physical situation, so you have to make time for yourself. So something as simple as taking your breaks. Now I know, they say when we break, but guess what? You need them 2 minutes. Do I get my 2 minute my 2 50-minute breaks when I was working? You damn skippy, because I need to get out that building, go to the car, sit in the car for a minute. I think that was one of the things that kept me, mindful to where I am, as far as working in the industry, because I took those breaks. Some people are like, oh, I can't take a break now. I got to do it. I'm like, listen, man, you got to take time, break away, from the whole herd to do what you need to do. Um, Sleep routine. Chuck mentioned something about he's not sleeping at this time. You have to fight to get a sleep routine. Do I have issues going to bed early? I do, especially now since I'm not working at the job. Of course, I'm staying up later, but you have to find a sleep routine. Um, was that exercise? Every morning I try to get up and exercise every morning. It makes me feel better. It makes me alert, and I think it also de-stresses me somewhat to some of the stuff that you're dealing with. And like I said with Chuck, when you're dealing with stress and you're working out, it balances a little bit. But when you don't, it seems to overwhelm you. And I know that feeling when you don't get a chance to do something because somebody's asking you, "Can you do this?" And you're like, "Well, I was gonna go for a walk." Yeah, but I need you to go to the and pick up something from the radiology place or whatever. And you're like, okay, and by the time you're done, you done missed out your workout time. So now you're just back into that, that 9 to 5 movement. Um,
So Mike, I'm sorry to cut you off. So that's that specific time you want to allot for
right,
yourself, right?
right,
You in the morning, whatever time you want to say, look, this is my time to get on this treadmill
right.
or
Well, I just know that my job was physical. At any point, you could have to restrain one, two, three, four, 7 individuals at one time. So it was very imperative that I got up every morning and worked out at least for a half hour. And like I said, my mindset was always expect the unexpected. With those two things in place, it helped me balance myself for those 20 years because I didn't go in like, oh damn, I never got really caught off guard. It was always expecting something to pop off at any moment. And when it didn't, it was a good day. But when it did, I wasn't surprised. Thank you.
all right, thanks, Mike. Chuck, let's go back to you real quick,
Yes,
Chuck.
sir.
Again, self care. What kind of things do you do to make sure you're able to find that quiet time? I mean, something that you could share with the audience.
You have to have hobbies. You have to have outlets.
That's not a hobby, Chuck. That's not a hobby. It's an obsession.
Well, I know some dudes. It's quite a hobby for them. So, but
My
that's a
bad,
different.
Chuck.
Yeah, you have to have hobbies. You have to have outlets, and again, it goes back to fighting for that time. If you're a parent, especially if you're a parent, life gets in the way, man. And there's a point where it's not about you. Let's face it, our kids have better schedules, better agendas than we do. They've
Fact.
got after school programs. Then they got their dances they're going through, their social activities, and you want your kids to be well rounded. So what happens? We as parents, oftentimes, we have to put our wants and our needs on the back burner because we want to make sure that our kids have. And it's just life gets in the way. So what do you do? What do you do? The only thing you can do is you can just, you formulate a plan. You try to stick to that plan. You fall short sometimes, but you still fight for that time that's yours, and you take it when you can. Um, and that's what I did.
Okay.
And Charles said some very kind words, and I really appreciate that. And actually looking back at like Stefan is an incredible dude, man. The way he was able to balance stuff, and then because especially with kids overseas and all that, this guy's a master of balancing that stuff. And I could learn. I've learned a lot watching him. So I thank Charles for those words. And you just have to you got to fight for your time, man. That's pretty much you got to fight for it.
Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I just had a comment with Chuck, and I was taking it personal that he kept saying fall short. Why can't you fall tall, man? You know?
Oh my
Yo,
God.
next time I see you on the block, I got something to say to you, brother.
Hey man, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean anything by it, man.
And for our listeners, Mike is vertically challenged. He's like, what, 5'4", Mike?
Oh, whoa, easy there, Glow.
yeah. You gave him some height.
Huh?
Damn.
I think you gave him an inch or two.
There you go.
So, so listen, I want to just talk about this real quick. The self-care thing is something that's really important, right? And you have to kind of make some time for yourself. I think one of the things that I've tried to do in recent years is try to meditate. And I haven't really been successful with doing it on a schedule. But when I think about it, when I get an opportunity to, I try to, set aside some time. One of the things because I traveled so much in the past, I used to kind of have these meditation type applications on my phone and stuff like that. And that's kind of the things I would go to sleep, they would be on while I was going to sleep or something like that. But I think it is just basically just making sure you calm your brain down at some point, just so that you're ready for whatever's coming next. So that's just a little thing that I was doing. And like I said, I wish I did a better job with it, or more consistent with it, but it was something I tried to do as much as I could.
Namaste.
Hey, yeah, Nam Yoho Renge Q. But look, let me ask you a question. No, seriously, meditation, because that's something that I would really like to try to, anyway. Do you find it works for you?
Yeah. I mean, so there's a bunch of stuff out there, right? And it depends if sometimes they consider that meditation just like listening to the sounds of the waves and stuff like that, just sounds, right? Like sounds of nature. But then there's also guided meditation where you can't really just let your mind go away. You kind of have to listen to what they're saying, and they're telling you how to breathe, and they're telling you how to do different things. And so I find that more useful for me. But yeah, absolutely. And I think the most important thing is doing it on a schedule, right? So maybe when you first wake up or before you go to bed, I was kind of all over the place, and I think I didn't have a really good system. But when I did it, I enjoyed it.
Got you.
So.
Yeah, and the reason I was asking is because, there's some people that can just sit in one place and just meditate, quiet time, and it just frees their mind, calms their body. And I want to try, something like that. But what's worked for me is walking. When I get out and I walk, I zone out. I mean, I'm usually by myself. There's no music. I'm usually doing a trail or something like that. So it's just me in nature, and I just that's my meditation. And I kind of felt crazy, but it's really kind of therapeutic. Just kind of just taking in nature, walking, and all that, and it's very calming, like meditation. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think I guess to your point, meditation is whatever works for you, right? Whatever calms your brain, from the things that are going on.
Okay.
I think you're about to say something, Stefan.
I tell you, I have a terrible habit, had it for 35 years, and that's smoking. But it's come to my advantage because what I do, most people don't want to be around me when I smoke. So I have my own private time, and I can walk away and really veg. And I found that was perfect for me in the military because you can't smoke at the desk, so you have to go outside. Guess what? I'm going out there by myself, or maybe with someone that does smoke, but I get along with the person. But that was my
Maybe you could do a marketing campaign for the cigarette
for Philip Morris.
industry.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so because I'm still getting yelled at for the fact that I smoke. But you have to find the things, and I think Chuck, that would be perfect for you. Oh, during my shoulder hurts, let me go outside with my thing and relax and get away from people. Leave me alone because you don't want me to smoke around you. Okay, I'm gone.
Right. Hey, but look, just for the record, it's not the smoke, brother. We just don't want to be around you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hilarious.
And thank you, Charles, for the kind words in comparison to Chuck. Anyway,
It's all love, brother. It's all love. It's all love.
All right.
Hey,
Okay.
well, I would like to say that if you guys really are into meditation and stuff like that, you can go to www.shinyhands.com.
Shinyhands.com. Wow.
It'll give you everything you need. It'll give you everything you need. You know, that's all you need when you're stressed out.
And no free plugs. No free
You know,
plugs.
shinyhands.com.
Which becomes sticky hands, huh?
Yeah. Hey, man, listen, I ain't saying nothing about that, man. I said shiny hand.
Okay.
You guys are killing me right
Wow.
now. Okay, so listen. All right, so let's class it up a little bit.
Class it up.
Yeah. So next comment that we received from wonderful listeners was, "What makes men commit?" What makes men commit?
What,
So
suicide?
is it? No, not commit suicide. What is it? Love?
My bad.
Is it convenience?
Okay.
Is it? It makes sense on paper.
Okay.
Or is it truly a soulmate or something else? So I want us to kind of think about that. So what makes men commit? So maybe we could help somebody out there. So Charles, why don't you give us a little your insight on this wonderful topic?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, every man knows the type of woman that he wants to marry, even before a relationship starts. And a man will commit when he feels a deep connection with a woman that he doesn't feel with anyone else. It's just as simple as that. And if he's non-committal, it's because he's just not that into you. It's that simple. And if he's, or it could be a situation where he's just not ready to settle down. But looking good on paper, it does help. But what's most important is chemistry and how we hit it off. So for example, it should be natural, should be free flowing, should be drama free. If we can talk, if we can really enjoy each other's company, and I can take you anywhere and feel comfortable, whether it's the family reunion, to a work event, to a ball game, hanging out with my friends, etc. And we're comfortable together in all those types of situations, then to me, that relationship has a tremendous amount of potential.
And that would make you commit.
That would be a situation where the relationship has the opportunity to be a heavily committed relationship. Absolutely. I mean, obviously, there's some boxes that need to be checked on both sides. They need to check the boxes for me. I need to check the boxes for them. But as far as the overall relationship, I think, chemistry is what's most important. And a lot of times women just want to just rush right to the chapel to get married. And because maybe the biological clock is ticking or what have you. But if the chemistry isn't there, trust me, that man is not going to want to go that route, period.
Okay. All right, Charles, that's good, right? So I think that's interesting because I believe a lot of females believe that dudes just don't want to commit. But you gave us a lot of good information as to what it's going to take. So if they're not trying to commit to you, you ain't the chick.
That's right.
I'm just saying. All right, I got you. Mike, committal. Everyone wants to know what you think about this. Not suicide, but real commitment.
Well, I was talking about the suicide of love. I'm going to go all out for everything and everybody, Anyway, as far as commitment, I think, I'm more down to earth where, you give me your last fry, it's do or die, you became my honey lover friend. Let's do it again. That's what I look at. I mean, I want you to be my honey. I want you to be my lover. I want you to be my friend. You know what I mean? Those are the type of things that I'm old school. Turn me on. Feed me, freak me, fulfill me. If you can find those basic attributes, I think that'll work. So, for the ladies out there, I know y'all looking for some deep, meaningful stuff to come out, but I am not the Dalai Lama. But what I would tell you is that become the man's friend first. Become his friend, become his honey, and then become his lover.
I swear, Mike is like Bernie Mac. You can't follow Mike.
Listen.
Can't
serious. This is serious stuff. I know y'all love laughing because you love me, and but what I'm saying is, just make him feel special and unique. And like I said, give him that last fry, give him that last nugget, give him that last neck bone. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Just got to give up that last,
Listen,
huh?
because that's gonna make him say, "Damn, you know what? I am unique. I am the one that she's thinking about." So, on the real, men just want to be appreciated, but they want to be they don't want anything too easy, but they also want to be appreciated, but they want to feel special, even though they try to be tough. The toughest guy wants to feel special and unique. So for those ladies out there and you're trying to figure out how to get someone to commit, be yourself, but also just try in the process of him making you feel special and unique, you should make him feel special and unique, and I think it should work out. Thank you.
All right. So, Mike, one more thing.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's hard? It's hard for a dude to commit.
It took me a while, to commit, but like Charles says, I think once that individual checks off those boxes as far as the love's concerned, the best friend, the deep connection, and that person, I'm telling you, person makes you feel different than other people have. I think that's what the pull is for me. The person made me feel different than what what other people have made me feel, and that's what made me, fall in love, and I wasn't afraid to be committed. So when time came to get married, a lot of cats sweating and getting nervous. Nah, I was good. I was good
Okay.
because I knew that you know after the wedding it was time for the percolator.
So, all right,
Thank
Mike.
you.
Does anyone want to file the percolator? Does anyone have any comments about that? All right. So, hey, let's move to our next question. And comment that we received was, why do some men make choices to exclusively date or marry outside of their race? So, what is it about their own race that would cause them to completely discard them and go somewhere else? So, this does not really pertain to anyone in this group, but obviously we can still have an opinion on it. So, Stefan, why don't you start us off with this one?
Well, I tell you, I think one of the reasons why someone would exclusively date outside of their own race is where they were brought up. Um, because a lot of cats, they are around. For example, a black child being brought up in Frederick County may be around almost 90% white people. Therefore, they become comfortable with it, and that's what they find attractive. A lot of times, people don't want to date within their own race because of issues with their own race. They may have some biases with their own race, or at least the women or the men in their own race. Therefore, they're seeking something else outside of that. A lot of I saw a lot of that in Germany, as well as I'm sure it's the same in Korea, as well as other places that troops have been assigned because they want something different. They want something exotic, and then that's what they focus almost everything on, that difference between their own race.
Okay, all right, Steph, and I'll just say that I think that it's kind of maybe even cliche to say that you can't help who you fall in love
Right,
with or
right.
whatever like that. But I do think that if you specifically look for something that's outside of your race, I think that's very intentional. And I know there are people that do that. I don't know of anyone specifically, but obviously there are people who only do that. So I think that's personally I think that says something about yourself, right? So if you cannot see anything good about someone who looks like you, but that's just my opinion. So anyone else want to chime in on this subject here? Charles.
Uh, well, um, I do know a few guys that fall into this category. And basically, I've had conversations with them. And one guy in particular suggested to me that the sisters weren't really interested in him until he started dating the other persuasion. They just weren't checking for him
All
for
right.
whatever reason. He was trying, uh, to go out to ask different females to get into a relationship with, so on and so forth. But things weren't working out for whatever reason. And then the other persuasion started showing interest in him, and so he went that way exclusively. And what he found, well, he got some. negative feedback from some people of his own race because
There's a
yeah,
surprise.
all of a sudden, and he's thinking, well, you weren't interested in me before, so why are you interested in me now? So that was him. I know there's also a myth out there that white women are perhaps easier to handle than black women. And I've never dated outside my race, so I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. But I know that that's out there. That is a myth that I hear
Right,
quite
right.
a bit. So whether or not that is true, again, I can't necessarily speak on that. But that is something that's out in the universe, and I think people sort of have to self-examine to determine whether or not something like that is true.
Hey Charles, I can answer since I've dated as well as married outside of my own race. White girls are not easier. Women are
Okay.
women. Trust me on this. Women
Hmm.
are women. There is not a difference.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, only the only difference is melanin.
Preach.
All right. That's good. It's good to know.
Hilarious. All right.
I think it's individual. Hey, Wayne. I
Yes,
think
sir. Go ahead,
I
Mike.
think it's individual. It's individual basis. And like I said, I mean, people can have all the myths about who's easy or whatever, but like Steph said, I think ladies are going to be ladies no matter what color you are, whatever the case may be, or whatever the issue is. So it's just a personal choice. Now, if you really are focused on that, like you said, I think that's more of an an internal issue. Because I think you're attracted to who you're attracted to. I mean, attraction is colorless when you're attracted to somebody. So I think it all depends on who you're attracted to, and how it happens. That's all.
Yeah, no, I get you. And so I would, one of the comments I kind of had for Charles, he may not know this because it's just a friend of his or acquaintance of his, but once his own race was showing interest in or at least commenting on his current
Hmm.
decision, uh, would he consider coming back to his race? Or was that he was like that ship has sailed, or he had a chip on his shoulder because they wasn't feeling him at the beginning? I mean, was it like that, or is it just like, I get it, you weren't checking for me before, so now that you are, let's see where this goes. I don't know. I'm just
No,
asking.
I think some bitterness had set in.
Oh yeah, most
You
definitely.
talk about something that is deep rooted. I mean, we as men at a very early age, we become attracted to females. And so he was no different. He was going down that path consistently for the majority of his life. And he finally got to a point where he was experiencing rather a great deal of frustration and decided to go the other route. And as far as I know, he has no plans on coming back, none whatsoever.
Okay.
That ship has
All
sailed.
right. All right, I get it. Chuck,
Yes, sir.
do you have any words of wisdom
Hmm.
on this subject? Not just random wisdom, just very specific to this.
No, because Charles hit the nail right on the head. Love is love, man.
Okay.
This is 2020. If you still hung up on uh, the color of somebody's skin, white, black, or otherwise, I'm sorry, man. You just stupid. It's just I'm sorry, and it's my opinion. I'm not speaking for the rest of the group, but again, to look at somebody and as a potential spouse, significant other, and immediately judge them because they're white, black, whatever. It's just stupid. Love is love. People, Stefan said it best. Women are women, you know, and dudes are dudes. We act differently generationally. We act differently socioeconomically. We act differently from the different uh, hemispheres. But for the most part, we're humans. We act, we react, we love, we hate, we all that. But it's take color out of it, man. I kind of get a little mad when people keep interjecting color because it's just stupid.
Okay.
It's
Hmm.
just stupid, man.
All right, good, good. Everybody had a good little something to say on that one. So
Black Lives
we
Matter.
have one question. we have one. We have one question. We have one comment left, and this one is an interesting one. The comment came in as why do men and women cheat?
They do.
Why? I know it's a
They do.
newsflash.
Last time I
That's what I
checked,
heard.
black men don't cheat. But
Ain't
go
that
ahead.
bitch?
So,
Move forward.
so,
Are we
well,
talking entanglement? Is that what we're talking about?
so hold
Yo,
on.
I cheat at Monopoly. I cheat at Monopoly one time. That's it.
But
Hey,
That's
real
it.
quick
but seriously,
on that
go ahead.
entanglement thing. I'm sorry, man. Hey,
You entangled?
nah, look, man. Look, I'm not trying to get on that whole Will and Jada thing. That's their personal business. But Will didn't know that shit was going on because did you see the look of defeat on his face?
Oh yeah.
Come on,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That brother's soul was damaged. All right. And he had to sit there and go through that. And yeah,
Yeah.
it was an entanglement. And she just talked about it. Let me tell you something, man. He wanted to turn that damn table over. But he had to sit there, he had to take it, and they're on damage control.
Yo.
Oh man.
Yo.
That's
Can you imagine feeling that way? You got $100 million in the bank, and you just feel just like shite.
Thank
You feel like shite right now.
Hey,
You got $100 million in the bank, and you feel like shite right there in front of everybody.
well, look,
Yeah.
well, she ain't getting none of it because she already admitted she cheated. So, hey,
That's problematic. But Charles, were you about to say something?
No, I mean, as far as that particular situation is concerned, the entanglement thing, I agree with Chuck, man. And she um she put herself out there for the entire world to see. And
Yep.
some people look at it as brilliant on Will Smith's behalf because she admitted that stuff publicly. So if they ever got to a point where they decided to go their separate ways, it's
on.
public. It's out there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So okay, so
all I want to say is, what was my man's name again? Entangler?
let's not use names.
Oh, okay. Whatever he was, whoever he was, whatever the dude's name. Yo, I saw the interview. I saw the interview. Yo, I was about to cry because I was like, damn, he was in his feelings. I'm like, yeah, something happened. Cause you don't talk like that. Like he was deep in his feelings. Like I felt like just the vessels in my eye just tear up when he was like, yeah, and it really.
hey,
Because I get my whole
you know that look when somebody puts it on you. All right, Jada Pinkett put that thing on that little boy. All right,
Thunder Monkey. Thunder Monkey.
You know what I'm saying? And he is
all right. So
sprung like.
So anyway, let's get back to our comment here.
Hey, let's get untangled. Let's get untangled.
Yeah, thank you. Why do men and women cheat? And so I'll kind of start us off.
You said why do men like to eat?
Man,
what'd you say?
Dude.
Oh, you. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me start with this. Let me start with this.
Go ahead. I think I got something wrong with my mic. Is this thing on? Go ahead, brother.
Obviously cheating is a big thing, right? And there's a lot of people who have situations with that. So I'm just going to kind of talk about it. Again, this is my opinion, and I guess everyone will speak from their experience or / opinion.
No, sir.
But I think that I think that really when a person is cheating in a relationship, it's because there's something that they're missing. I know that sounds like Dr. Phil kind of stuff, but I think if everything is hitting on all cylinders and everything is dead right, there's not a whole lot of opportunity or desire, right? I heard someone say before that a person is as faithful as his options. So, it's a weird thing, but it does happen, right? And so does that mean that because they're missing something, that someone's missing something at home, that gives them the right to do that? No, it doesn't. But this is a reality. This is something that does happen. So this was a question as to why this happens. And I think a lot of people, I'm not going to say this is dudes or females, but I think a lot of people take advantage of opportunities that they may have in front of them. And they just want to try something that they think is better. And maybe it is, but many times it's probably not worth whatever what they could potentially lose. So that's my comments on the cheating subject. So I don't know that that's really an answer as to why, but I think that people just get caught up in it. I don't know that I'm guessing there are people who really go out looking, really go out hard, and are trying to just be out there. But I don't think that's the majority of folks. Mike, what you got to say?
Who let the dogs out? Woof, woof. Nothing but the dog in me. They say music has an effect on people. Sometimes
This dude here.
it does have an effect. But sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes you just can't listen to the song. Sometimes that song playing in your mind, you can't listen to it. Why must I be like that? Why must I chase that cat? Nothing but the dog and me. So sometimes you gotta spade yourself. You gotta spade yourself, gentlemen. And I'm just saying,
What?
when it comes
This dude
when
here.
it comes to the umbrella of cheating, when you under that umbrella and you're trying to get that protection from that honey rain, get out of
Honey
there.
rain?
Get out of there. Honey rain. Yeah, well, that's nothing compared to the honey dust, but that's another show about the honey dust.
Hey, we have to stop drinking before the
Okay,
show.
okay, my bad, my
I
bad. Anyway, why do men cheat? I could not tell you why men cheat because as a young man, it could have been hormones, it could have been immaturity. Hey man, some people get in trouble because they drinking and getting high. You ain't got to lie, Craig, after you done smoke a doobie, and now you did me because you did a doobie. You don't know. On the serious side, it could have been something that happened when you were a kid and you saw something or something happened to you and it had an effect on you where promiscuity, am I saying that right?
Yeah,
Promiscuous,
that's close enough.
promiscuous. Okay, so those things happen. I mean, there's all different reasons why. Then you got that dude like, hey man, if I see that ass, I'm gonna tap that ass. Them yams, you know what I mean? I'm all in. You know what I mean? There's all different types of dudes out there. My thing is that there's no one clear cut reason why men cheat. You know?
Well, let me say this
Yeah.
though, right? So good point, and I think that obviously we're all dudes here and we're speaking to this, but the question was for men and
Right.
women. So we don't know this from any factual state, I guess, but what do you think is a reason why women cheat?
The same thing as men. Uh Immaturity. I think there's women that get drunk at happy hour or somewhere, and they wind up, maybe going somewhere where they ain't supposed to be going, or doing something they ain't supposed to be doing. Some people just addicted. You know what I mean? That Eric Benet, they got the Eric Benet-ism up in them. You know what I mean? So you never know. They got that sexual addiction thing, so you don't know. I mean, there's so many things why people do it, but the thing about there's no clear cut reason. The thing about it is, if somebody can say, "Oh, my wife, she overweight," or "My wife don't pay attention to me," whatever. The thing about it is, the reality of it is, ladies and gentlemen, that it's shit's gonna happen, and it's up to you to address it and be upfront about it. I think a lot of people not upfront, and if you are upfront, and the person ignores you, then you have to go, take the proper steps to do it. But I mean, some people even cheat just to destroy their marriage because they want the person to do they would do the dirt so the person can do the hard work or the labor. So there's so many things that can happen.
Mm.
Um, you know, with this, it's such a touchy subject because if
Oh
we had
yeah, yeah,
ladies on the panel, their whole view would be totally different than ours. You know, and
exactly. That's why I
right,
asked the
right.
question.
So the thing about it is, it's very touchy subject, and the thing about it is, there's no clear cut reason why men cheat. I just think communication is the key. You have to talk it out as much as you can. Brother Stefan, I saw your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I always keep my head up, Mike. I appreciate it. I'll tell you why. For men, it's the adventure, the endorphin release. For women, it's mainly an emotional need is missing. Something is missing in their relationship that they're trying to get
So,
from
You
someone else.
you know
so Steph, you only releasing endorphins? That's all you're
No,
releasing?
no, no. You release a whole lot more. But yeah, it's one of those. It's the thrill. It's that. Let's be real. It's that new pussy. Ain't nothing like new pussy. All right. So
you don't
you
look
know
like you do.
exactly, and so that's why a lot of guys do it. And now, heck, I'm sure there were some guys doing it while they were just dating somebody. They didn't have to be married not to cheat.
Right,
And
right,
and
right,
I,
right,
I
right.
definitely saw that on the yard back in the day. They were dating
Uh,
someone exclusively, but they had something on the side. And
I don't remember anything
okay,
like that.
see, I watched everything. And then, and then
Wow.
the women, it's normally emotional, or they're not receiving what they need to receive from their guy.
Okay. All right. So, Charles, what are your
I
thoughts
mean,
on
I
this?
think Mike really touched on it. It's immaturity. Marriage is for grown folks. And
Mm,
if you're dealing with immaturity or an immature partner, then the likelihood or the capacity of somebody to cheat is there. People do sometimes let themselves go. They do sometimes get complacent in their relationship. But if you have a mature marriage, then you should be able to overcome a lot of those things. You know, what Stefan talked about as far as the lack of intimacy at home. One of the things that we haven't talked about is revenge. It's my understanding that a lot of women put themselves out there to get back at a cheating spouse, a cheating husband, so to speak. So they'll get out there, they'll spread their legs for another man, in an effort to get back to him, or back at him, I should say. So, there's a lot of
right.
stuff
Right.
like that goes on as well.
Okay. All right. So, if there's nothing more, any final thoughts on this or any of the things we talked about this evening?
Well, I would like to say something.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I would like to say that cheat rhymes with eat. So if you take your spouse out or your girlfriend out more often and spend some time with her over a candlelight dinner, you might come out a winner instead of a sinner. God bless.
Stu here.
Drop
Yo,
the mic.
so listen, we want to thank everybody for joining us again on Just Be a Man 2020. Hey, we're having a lot of fun with what we're doing, and we really appreciate the comments, the feedback, and the questions that you've provided for us. So we will, from time to time, do something like this where we will take some questions or comments and speak to them on the show, as opposed to just responding in the comment boxes. So again, make sure you take some time to listen to our podcast and all of our content. Make sure that you follow us on social media, and make sure you tune in next time. So for the group here, I'd like to say peace and blessings. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your participation in this process, and thank you.
Don't cheat. Go out to eat. Deuces.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Just Be a Man podcast. Be sure to check us out on social media at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube, where you can follow, like, subscribe, and comment at Just Be a Man 2020. We will love to receive your feedback. Also, if there is a topic you would like us to discuss, please leave your suggestion in the comments. Remember to tune in next Wednesday for more meaningful discussion. Until then, we wish you peace and blessings.